Welcome to Bear Time Adventures. My name is Charles Wallace. You can call me Charles. You can call me Mr. Wallace. Or if you want, like my own kids call me, you can call me Bear. How many of you like stories? I'm hoping a lot of you like stories. So, who likes stories? Raise your hand. Wow, look at all those hands. Great. I'm glad so many of you like stories because today I am here to tell you an exciting story about one of my characters, the superhero, Zoom. It was a busy afternoon in Professor Seamus's lab, and Jake Zooman, also known as Zoom, was working with his grandpa on tuning up his motorcycle, Shift. Suddenly, a distress call came through on Professor Seamus's monitor from the local zoo. The call was from Lila, one of the zookeepers. Professor Seamus, I need your help. A bunch of animals have escaped the zoo, and they're running wild in the city. Escaped animals? How did that happen? Lila's voice cracked over the speaker. I don't know. The enclosures were all fine last night, but this morning, the gates were wide open. I'm trying to control the situation, but I can't handle it alone. Can you and Zoom help? Professor Seamus immediately began rifling through his drawer of gadgets. Of course, Lila. Don't worry. Zoom and I will be there in no time. Jake, you're going to need a few tools for this mission. Here, take the Animal Tracker 2000. It'll help you locate the animals wherever they are in the city. And just in case some of them are too big to manage, you'll need the shrink ray wristband. Professor Seamus then pointed outside at the brand new Zoom mobile container, a sleek, futuristic, and expandable transport system. This is the Zoom mobile container. Hook it onto Shift, and it'll expand to carry animals of all sizes safely. Let's get these animals back where they belong. Perfect, Grandpa. Let's go. When they arrived at the zoo, they were met by Lila, who was trying to control a group of nervous animals. Thanks for coming so fast, Professor Seamus. There are animals scattered all over the city. Lions at the park, an elephant near the waterfront, penguins in the main square, and even a giraffe spotted near the library. I've been trying to keep things under control, but I need help. Professor Seamus handed the Animal Tracker 2000 to Zoom and showed him how to use it. Here, Jake. This tracker will help you pinpoint where the animals are. I'll stay back here with Lila to help keep things calm at the zoo. Zoom powered up the tracker, watching the blips appear on the screen. Looks like the elephant is heading toward the waterfront. I'll take care of it. Lila thanked him and said, I'll stay here with Professor Seamus and handle the lions in the park. Good luck, Zoom. Zoom sped through the city streets on Shift, following the tracker to the waterfront. But when he arrived, the situation was worse than expected. The massive elephant was stomping through the crowded market, knocking over stalls and scaring all the people. It trumpeted loudly, its wild movement sending crates of fruit and goods flying through the air. Whoa, this is way out of control. Zoom zipped through the chaotic crowd, dodging falling crates, flipping over a market stand as the elephant's trunk swung dangerously close. The market was filled with screaming shoppers and honking cars as the elephant's panic grew. Zoom had to think quickly. Elephants are gentle giants, but they get scared easily. We need to calm him down. He raced alongside the elephant, pressing the button on the shrink ray wristband and aiming it at the massive creature. With a flash, the elephant shrunk down to the size of a small dog, its wild movements immediately slowing. Zoom was relieved. Phew, much better. Zoom carefully secured the mini elephant into the Zoom mobile container attached to Shift. As the container expanded, it created a safe padded space for the elephant inside. Children were looking on in amazement. Zoom explained, Elephants are the largest land animals on Earth. They're highly intelligent and live in family groups, but when they're scared, they can act unpredictably, just like today. With that, Zoom sped off with the elephant safely contained, heading back toward the zoo. Meanwhile, Professor Seamus and Lila had left the zoo. They were at the park dealing with two escaped lions. The lions were prowling through the playground, sending kids and parents running. Their low growls echoed through the park as they stalked between swings and the jungle gyms. Lila looked at Professor Seamus. "These lions are on edge, Professor. We need to calm them down before anyone gets hurt." Professor Seamus quickly pulled out the animal calming spray and tossed it to Lila. "This should help." Lila sprayed the mist in the air, and the lions immediately began to relax, their growls turning into soft grunts. Lila quietly said to Professor Seamus, "Lions are known as the kings of the jungle, but did you know they actually live in the savannas of Africa? They're powerful hunters and work in groups called prides, just like how we're working together today." After Zoom had returned the elephant safely to the zoo, he met Lila and Professor Seamus at the park. Now, with the lions calmed, Lila and Professor Seamus carefully guided them toward the Zoom mobile container. The container expanded, creating 2 separate compartments for the lions, ensuring a safe and secure trip back to the zoo. As soon as they returned the lions to the zoo, the Animal Tracker 2000 flashed again. Penguins had wandered into the downtown area and were waddling through the main square, causing a huge traffic jam. People were snapping photos, but the heat was making the penguins uncomfortable. Zoom rev shifts engine. "Looks like I'm heading downtown." He sped off, weaving through traffic, and when he arrived at the main square, the penguins had gathered around a fountain, splashing around to cool off. Zoom was smiling. "Penguins may be adorable, but they're built for cold climates. These guys need to get back to their icy home." He reached into his gear and pulled out the freezer net, a gadget that expanded into a cool, frosty net, perfect for keeping the penguins comfortable. He gently scooped up the waddling birds and placed them in the Zoom mobile container, and quickly transported them back to the zoo. Zoom had returned the penguins safely back to the zoo, and the Animal Tracker 2000 beeped again. A giraffe had been spotted near the library. It was nibbling on the leaves of tall trees. The giraffe's towering height had drawn a crowd, and cars were slowing down to take a closer look. Zoom was speaking to the crowd of onlookers. "Giraffes are the tallest animals on Earth, and they use their long necks to eat leaves way up high. But they're shy and can get nervous around too many people." As Zoom approached, the giraffe was starting to back away into the street, clearly nervous with all the commotion. Zoom quickly activated the soothing light, casting a calming glow around the giraffe. The crowd moved back, and the giraffe, now calm, followed Zoom toward the Zoom mobile container, which expanded to accommodate the giraffe's enormous height. As they finished getting the giraffe safely back to the zoo, the Animal Tracker 2000 beeped again. There was a gorilla wreaking havoc in a shopping mall. Zoom raced towards the mall, dodging through traffic as he sped up to reach the scene. Inside the mall, the gorilla had climbed up to the rafters and was swinging from the lights, knocking down tables in the food court. Zoom looked around. This is going to be tough. Using his grappling hook, Zoom launched himself up into the air, swinging through the mall like the gorilla. He pulled the banana out of his pocket that Lila had given him to lure the gorilla back to safety. Zoom was speaking out loud. "Gorillas are strong and smart. They can use tools just like humans. Let's see if we can use this banana to get him back to the zoo." The gorilla now noticed Zoom. More importantly, he noticed the banana in his hand. Zoom swung from the grappling hook and headed towards the Zoom mobile container, and the gorilla followed. As Zoom approached the mobile container, he threw the banana inside. The gorilla saw this, and he ran in after the banana. Zoom quickly shut the door of the container. The gorilla was trapped inside. When Zoom arrived back at the zoo with the gorilla, Grandpa Seamus and Lila had gotten most of the animals back into their enclosures. There was just one more animal to retrieve. A giant tortoise that had wandered into the mayor's garden. Lila was laughing. "Tortoises may be slow, but they can live for over 100 years. I'll go get them. It won't be a fast chase." Just as Lila went to retrieve the tortoise, the Animal Tracker 2000 began flashing again. This time, A different alert appeared on the screen. Professor Seamus looked at Zoom and Lila. Wait, something's not right. There's another signal. Zoom looked. What? Another animal? No, something else. Something much bigger. They all looked at each other, and a sudden roar echoed from deep within the city. Just as they were closing the final gate, Lila looked at Zoom and Professor Seamus. Thanks for all your help today. But there's still something strange about how those animals got out. You're right. These enclosures were tampered with, and this new signal, I'm not sure what this is at all. I think we've only scratched the surface. Zoom looked at Professor Seamus and Lila. We'll figure it out. This isn't over yet. As they prepared for what came next, a loud screech filled the air, and the Animal Tracker 2000 blared again. Zoom couldn't believe it. Get ready. Looks like there's a lot more work to do. I hope you liked that story, kids. I hope you learned about teamwork, problem solving, and also some fun facts about different animals like elephants, lions, penguins, giraffes, gorillas, and even a tortoise. So, are you excited to hear what happens next? I sure am. So make sure you tune in next week for the next episode of Bear Time Adventures.